And before we go across to our guest, let's quickly take a look at what's been happening in Israel and Iran, with both sides raining missiles at each other for the third consecutive day. Here's a closer look at the top developments at this hour. Visuals that have surfaced that show Iranian missile striking the Israeli port city of Haifa. The visuals on your screens, Iran has been targeting the Haifa city for second consecutive day. 4 people have been reportedly injured and several buildings have been damaged as a result of the ongoing offensive. Israel has launched a wave of airstrikes targeting dozens of surface-to-surface missile sites in western Iran. Renewed Israeli attacks have hit Tehran and other Iranian cities as well. So the casualties, as of now, the number stands at 224. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has confirmed that the Iranian intel chief and his deputy have also been killed in the Israeli missile strikes. Netanyahu has said that Mohammad Kazemi, the head of IRGC Intel, and his deputy Hassan Muhaqiq were targeted in an Israeli airstrike. Parallelly, Iran has accused Israel of deliberately targeting a foreign ministry building in Tehran, the visuals of which have surfaced as well. In fact, Iran has also claimed that several civilians have been injured in the latest strike. Iran or the unicameral Iran's parliament is mulling withdrawal from the treaty on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons in wake of Israeli strikes on its nuclear facilities. Deputy leader has said that the minimal necessary measure is withdrawal from the non-proliferation treaty. Says that the country is currently considering the issue in the parliament and even withdrawal from the IAEA, the UN nuclear watchdog. And to discuss this further, Dr. Charles Kupchan, who's Senior Fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, CFR, joins us live on the broadcast. Dr. Charles, first up, your quick insights on Trump's latest comments. He's warned Iran against attacking American assets. But do you think that Iranians can still do that given the situation that currently persists?
I think it's unlikely that Iran is going to target U.S. assets, whether that is U.S. forces in the region or U.S. installations such as embassies or military bases, because I think Iran knows that if they do target the United States will probably enter the war alongside Israel. And that would mean that an air campaign that is already quite punishing is going to get worse, including the potential use of what we call bunker busters, which are very heavy bombs that the United States can deliver against Iranian targets inside mountains that the Israelis really can't get at. So I think we're going to probably see more of same for the foreseeable future. Iran doing what it can to strike back against Israeli population centers, but probably continuing to be cautious about going after other targets, and in particular, U.S. targets.
Yes. Yes, and Dr. Charles, just to add to that, President Trump even says that the Russians can help mediate at this stage. Do you think that is a possibility? Because these are several statements coming in regarding the mediation. Turkish president, for that matter, has also offered to mediate. Is mediation even a possibility given the volatile situation that currently persists?
You know, mediation may be not quite the right term. I think perhaps pressure or intervention from Russia and or China, for that matter, can be important here, because Russia and China are Iran's 2 main allies. Russia has been buying a lot of weapons from Iran. China is Iran's economic lifeline. It buys a lot of oil from Iran. And in that respect, if messages were to be sent to Tehran from either the Chinese government or the Russian government, they would be listened to. Now, is Russia or is China going to be willing to play that role, or would they rather see turmoil unfold in the Middle East? We don't know. But if there are any two parties that do have leverage over Tehran, it is Moscow and Beijing.
Yes. Dr. Charles, in addition to that, President Donald Trump has made an important statement. He says that US knew about the Israeli operation but wasn't directly involved in this operation. How do you see that? How does that position the US in this ongoing conflict?
Well, I think it's probably the case that had Trump said to Netanyahu, under no circumstances can you attack Iran, I don't think Israel would have started this conflict, in the sense that the U.S. and Israel are very close partners, and I think in many respects Israel would not do something directly against the wishes and instructions of the American president. That having been said, I think Trump is in an awkward place here. He has in his administration hawks that are more than happy to see Iran hit by Israel and would prefer that the United States join the war. He also has within his administration, particularly the MAGA base, neo-isolationists. The last thing that they want is the U.S. to get involved in another major war in the Middle East. So I think you're seeing Trump try to navigate these two camps within the Republican Party.
Yes, Dr. Charles, so obviously Donald Trump is in a tough spot. But with both Iran and Israel continuing to exchange heavy fire and warnings, what could be the end game of all this? At least one of them will have to hold fire. It's a tit-for-tat attacks going on. Who do you think holds the final key? And what possibly could be the end game here?
I think that this is probably going to continue for quite some time. Israel has made it clear that this is not just a warning strike. This is an effort to debilitate Iran, to decapitate its military leadership, and to do as much damage to the nuclear program as possible. And so far as we know, Israel has near command of Iran's airspace. Yes, Iran still does have some ground-to-air missiles, but the Israelis are continuing to suppress the air defense system of Iran, and that gives Israeli aircraft, Israeli drones, other kinds of assets almost free rein. And as a consequence, I think you'll see Israel continue to prosecute this war for days to come. The key question is, will there be pushback from the Israeli population? The nightmare scenario that Israel worried about is here.
Yes.
Iranian missiles are raining down on Tel Aviv and Haifa and other civilian population centers. How long can Iran continue that? We don't know. But I think this is a war that will likely continue until Iran is quite significantly set back in terms of its military capability.
Yes. Dr. Charles, just last question before we let you go. There's a foreign ministers meeting of the G7 leaders that is set to take place on Tuesday. The leaders say that the West Asia conflict is going to be a topic of discussion. Do you see anything coming out of that G7 foreign ministers meet that will be taking place on Tuesday?
Well, I think you'll see all parties call for restraint, all parties to call for a diplomatic solution as quickly as possible. I don't really think that the statements that come out of the G7 are going to make much difference. I think this is a war now that is occurring according to its own dynamic and according to its own military logic. Now that Israel has effective control of Iran's airspace, I think they're going to take advantage of their ability to hit Iranian targets to continue this war until they deem the threat posed by Iran to be substantially neutralized. That could be a number of days, it could be a number of weeks.
Yes, Dr. Charles, point taken. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast.
Good to be with you.